Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another one of our Nativz co-stream. Tonight, it's a very special and it's gonna be a very nice evening. I hope so. I'm Lisa. I'm gonna be your host tonight, and with me, as usual, we have Nulu's biggest fan, Zeth, and the heavy to carry Sandbag. Hello, guys. How are we feeling in this very tense evening?
In Nulu we trust is the best way to explain it. Because of course, Sandbag, you're probably a bigger fan than me because of the C9 era back in the day. We need it. We need someone. For everybody who doesn't know, if we lose here today, this whole entire split is going to be for nil. We won't even be able to get ourselves over towards those playoffs. Remember, Nulu wasn't here yesterday because of some chest pains he had. Fortunately, he's felt a little bit better. Can play today. And we need to win. There's no ifs, no buts, no more mistakes from this team. They have to win.
We have to win. That's a fact. Sandbag, can we talk a little bit about how we lost to Lightside last night?
Uh, briefly, minimally, briefly, as little as possible, because like you said, this was so many games just feel like they're slipping through fingers off of dropping a single mid wave, of some split push going awry, off of a random Baron steal. So these games just can't be closed, it feels like. So like you said, no more room for error. There is actual backs against the wall, only top half progress, and we're outside that cut right now. We need to make up some ground with a handful of games left.
We're here just praying for the best. And can we actually take a look at the standings so we see our situation?
How has this happened? How are we fifth place? Guys, everybody at home, remember, maybe even 3 weeks ago now, I was on the top of the middle. I'm like, Nativz, they're going to be first place. We're fighting against Lions Creed. We're winning. This team can do it. But then, of course, mistake after mistake after mistake, and clearly games we should have won have slipped through our fingers. But the one benefit is, now that we're this fifth place, we're at rock bottom. I don't think Nativz could be further than this. And it's all about getting back up. And now that Nulu's back in this roster, and something a lot of the coaching staff said behind the scenes is, this group of players can be the best here. They can clearly be the best team. They just need to have that final piece put together. And if they start winning one game, that confidence is going to start growing. And I feel like this is going to be the catalyst for them to have that fight up top to get to those playoffs.
Yeah, and tonight we're playing against Venomcrest. So can we maybe talk a little bit about how this game could go? Sandbag?
I First off, we were able to finish them off the first time, right? This was something that we've had issues in multiple times of not closing. We got the job done last time. We were able to pick it up, I believe it was in week 2. It was Nulu Azir, it was stable team comps, all of the things that we said even back then carrying forwards. So quietly, we do actually have a 1-0 up on them. Looking to make it a sweep over the round robin is not out of the realm of possibility in any way.
Yeah, let's see how this goes. And just a quick reminder that we're also having our watching party on Discord that is being hosted by Hanivai, our community manager. So if you want to join her, the link is on comment Discord, and you can be part of this very tense evening that everyone is just on edge. And while we wait for draft, can we actually talk a little bit about the patch we're playing on? Because since last game, we changed from patch 14.2 to 14.3b.
Yes, 14.3B. The main reason for that was Aurelion Soul. Put that back in the dumpster. I hate that champion, as it's just been havocing over solo queue, and even the pro scenes is that strong that even if you slightly know how to play it, it's completely worth doing that. But the major notes that everybody at home needs to worry about is, remember, Smurfay, we talk about it as Azir, it is going to have a little less sustain in the early games. It can maybe get poked out. Bran has also been knocked down a peg, something that we know the Venomcrest jungler does like to play. It takes about 2 seconds off his clear, so maybe that's a possibility to keep open and try and abuse that. Karma as well, Marcher Q, less damage on top of that. Thank God, I felt like that dealt way too much damage. And to finish this off, the major buffs is going to be to Talia and Zeri, both of these two champions getting a little bit of extra damage and cooldown reduction, so maybe we'll start seeing them. And I do believe that our mid lane of Nulu does actually play a bit of Talia.
Yeah, our mid laner tends to play a lot with Azir, who has suffered a nerf. How can this affect him if he chooses to play with Azir tonight, Sandbag?
It's just sustain. I think this was the one thing that we were able to touch on yesterday was all of the DPS, all of the playmaking, all of the aggressive components are still unchanged and unchecked. It is only that base health regen as everyone's kind of slid over to the fleet footwork. It's just a bit less safe. It can be abused if you're not playing it right. You can be poked out, you can be chipped away at, but the playmaking is there. So all of the same damage, a little bit less of the safety, the guaranteed the safety.
And we finally have Smolder. So maybe is there any chance we might see him in this game tonight? I know there are other teams played with him, but he's not having the best kind of results. Can we talk a little bit about how Smolder's going, Seth?
It's a bit of a hard one, Smolder, because for everybody in solo queue, the way that I've been seeing it get built is not with the basic AD carry stuff of having that fleet footwork or something like that. A lot of people actually like to go comment onto him straight into something like a Spirit Shojin, where you put 3 max into that W, the one that is that super long range poke ability, which allows you to just be sustainable in lane and just be kind of annoying, and then in the late game have that big damage ramp. But my big issue is with him, 250 stacks, it takes about 25 minutes, 30 to get there. And that burn doesn't really feel as impactful as I hope it would have been. He needs to get to probably about 500 stacks before at least myself in solo queue started seeing that champion really come online. I feel like for teams like this, it just takes too long. You lose too much in the early games. I don't expect Smolder to really come out from either of these teams.
That
That's
is absolutely the issue you run into, right? It's that situation of it takes you too long to get to a point where you can impact the game. And when you're looking to play, like even saw the last game on stream, it was into Draven, and it just gave quite a bit early on. You just too much leash, and these teams can close out games at that point.
yeah. How about the buffs that we had for Zeri and Nidalee?
Well, for the Nidalee buffs, I'm not 100% sure what they are, but I do believe it just allows her to clear slightly faster, gives her a little bit more damage to try and get up to that A rank tier of junglers, so it can be in that pool now. So if people want that early game aggression, instead of always having to go for the J4, the Xing Zhao, they now have a new AP possibility of that Nidalee. And with the other two champions you talked about, the Talia and Zeri, Zeri's ultimate cooldown's actually been taken down a notch by 20 seconds, meaning that's going to be up every single fight in this early game, and her early AD scaling has gone up by, I believe, 3 AD, meaning that she can be more aggressive in this early game. And you mentioned before about having someone like Smolder can't really get through that early laning phase. I believe now Zeri will be able to and become that aggressive late game pick that we know her for, compared to the Talia, where I believe it's just her Q deals a little bit more damage.
Yeah, Sandbag, do you know anything more about Nidalee's buff, maybe?
Yeah, it's the E heal. She's got a little bit of a bump to that spell because it was outright said this spell just feels bad to press. You got a smidge of attack speed and effectively no HP early on in that until the AP piles up. Whereas now you don't put points in it, you just get a little bit of a kind of steroid temporarily. So it means that you're not just a javelin with legs. You can actually use some of your attack speed moving forwards with those auto attacks.
Okay, that's fair. And what about the items? Do we have any relevant information on the adjustments they had?
Well, the only major changes I see from all of the items coming through is that whole plate in the top side is going to be slightly powerful, especially if you try to build it earlier on. There's actually a nerf coming through for Urgot that his interaction was a little bit weird. So maybe you'll see side lanes being a little bit more useful in the early game. But it's most importantly about this Ginsu's Rage Blade. For everybody who doesn't know about the AD Azir build, it has been just running rampant in a few of these games, because you get yourselves just a little bit of attack speed, add that Ginsu's Rage Blade on top, and with one gold card, you can just obliterate anyone that comes your way. So that Ginsu's Rage Blade, I'm really curious to see if there's anyone else that can take massive effect of it, because we know usual champions like the Kog'Maw enjoy that, but none of them have really just shine up in the meta yet.
So, if we're talking about Azir AD, what's the biggest differences that would be between his AD build and his AP build, Sandbag? Would you have some comments on that?
For the Twisted Fates, right? The gold card that we were saying is I tend to be a preference of this AD style. The one big change that they made was his passive, if it crits, gets a second dice. So you can get upwards of probably 7-ish golds on top of every one of your last hits, which piles up incredibly quickly. So I think that's the biggest change. It's avoided nerfs even in life patch, even in point 4. I don't think he got touched at all here. So it seems to be super strong in solo, which obviously he gets extra strength from the fact that nobody actually respects roams or presses their 4 key at any point to ward in solo queue. But even in pro, it doesn't seem like the NLC has seemed to adopt it, while it is finding its footing elsewhere. But I really like this AD style of crit. Pop in with the R and just wail away while they're stunned.
Yeah, I remember we talked a little bit about this last week, and same thing that we talked about how Maokai can be a very versatile champion being used in a lot of different lanes. Could you actually talk a little bit more about that, Seth? You that is
Well,
like the biggest Maokai fan.
Well, I do love a little bit of Maokai. Actually, I'm kind of having a little bit of a difficult time trying to think about Maokai, at least in the last game that Nativz played with it. Because remember, Shai Katami, the support for Nativz, did actually get that pickup. But it was into a Braum, it was into a Rumble, and the champion really feels like it couldn't do anything against that, mostly because of that Rumble pick being able to just burn it away, even with some huge shielding and huge magic resist on him. So yes, Maokai can be powerful, especially that it has that point and click CC. So no matter what lane you put it in, it will always have that engaged threat that you need either from a jungle or support. However, with this Rumble pick being a little bit higher off into the meta and a few more people may start picking it up, Maokai might actually fall down a little bit in priority for some of these teams.
There are a lot of champions that have that are on the new patch in buffs or nerfs, but we haven't really seen them throughout the game so far. Like we haven't really seen Timo or Talia, Shaco, Shyvana. Uh, would there be like a possibility of seeing them tonight with the buffs, or are they still not that relevant for the current meta?
Well, for me
I
personally, I think Zeri is the highest candidate with Talia. Zeri was actually played 100 Thieves versus C9, I believe, less than a week ago. So that is something to look at if you're wanting to see how Zeri does there. Of course, getting a Pentakill on Berserker was a very good game for him. So of course, Zeri can get picked up. Talia, it's difficult because I feel like still the main champions you see right now, like Delusion and Felios, means that Zeri most likely will get picked. And then, of course, if you want to, try and roam around, you have that TF that could be used. Maybe the Azir for the roaming capabilities. I feel like there are just better options, even with these buffs to them.
What do you think, Sandbag?
I do think there's better options. You have to go all in on Zeri lanes sometimes, it feels, where you have to be playing things to set her up, because being that close range champ, you need to be able to make sure that she is well supported. Lulu's not in a great spot to really support her. Yumi the same way. A lot of the champions here will probably not be finding their way in here. Like Shaco changes, not relevant enough. AP Giovanna, while terrifying in solo queue, once again falls victim to the fact that these players are good enough to ward. When you don't get cheesed, you don't give 300 gold every single time that they gank. Not gonna find its way in here.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about natives then, and about like how our team has been doing throughout the season. And Zach, if you had to point out what are our greatest strengths, what would you say?
I would have to say the team cohesion when it comes to these team fights mostly, because whenever we do actually get ourselves into a good position to take them, we usually are very good at winning them out, especially with our execution. And that mostly comes down to the mid laner of Nulu being able to have that control, mostly with that Azir, to hold off the enemies and being able to, find those engages when the team needs it.
Would you agree, Sandbag?
I would say yes in terms of the kind of scrappy skirmishy fights, but the team fights, sometimes there's a moment of hesitation, which has just killed us time and time again. Even that Maokai you're talking about. But I'm excited to see if this champ's going to be loaded in anything interesting. We're going to be sliding into champion select. So thank you very much, Lisa. We were going to be
See you
dropping
guys
into
soon.
draft here. Zach, go ahead and guide us into this.
Oh, I'm ready. Come on, Nativz, you have it. In Nulu we trust. In Nativz we trust. And please, can we have it? Are we allowed? I want the Sandbag. We still have this. No matter. Nulu doesn't need Azir. Maokai's still very powerful champion. We can pick that up first pick. And there's still plenty of other opportunities. The Talia buffs. We know Nulu plays it. And as well, remember that sustain has gone down for the Azir early game. So maybe even a poke champion can go in towards it.
Yep, there it is, and they seem to agree with the sentiment, hovering up a classic combination. Maokai we touched on already, Corki for the chip damage, there's less sustain on this patch, Azir more exploitable, the Aatrox one trick still has a chance to grab this up in first rotation. Keep in mind, even with the return to Nulu, 4 other members on the team, all willing to try and get this one over the line, not just the new member slotting himself back in.
Yeah, you are completely correct about that, as the Smolder is just instantly locked in, confidence coming out from this Venomcrest bot side. I'm going to be curious if he does actually want to go for the build I talked about, which is more poke oriented, or it is going to be that fleet footwork mostly into a full AD build. And now Nativz, would you actually want to build into that Smolder? Remember, he is very weak early game. There was actually a team comp we built, which was all about a Caitlyn in the bot lane, being able to push them under tower and just get all of these tower plates and make it where it couldn't be played. But there are so many options into it. And it does seem like the Draven is going to be that option, as this is the first time Rusty's played it, but he is known a bit for being a Draven main.
This is a run back of the previous game. However, they did beat out the AD carry. This was the winning side of the matchup on this one. So, results-based analysis, Draven beats Smolder, Nativz beats Venomcrest off of these picks.
Yeah, it's all about that early game threat the Draven can have. And one thing I've noticed about Nativz is when their lane's a priority, Jakey just absolutely pops off. He makes the correct plays. They can find those tower dives. However, when they don't a priority, it feels like Nativz has a difficult time really getting anything going and then makes a few blunders in the late game where they lose. So maybe with this early game aggression from the Draven, could bring out the best parts of Nativz. However, Venomcrest, they still have their top laner available and their jungler to pick up if this rail will go towards the bot side. This is why we see Nativz trying to ban away this Gnar site that can be safe, trying to poke out Nativz. And all Nativz really need to make sure is that they have that engaged threat to get onto Venomcrest, especially when they have this Draven pick.
Yeah, looking to smash this game open early, because Azir Smolder late game basically unplayable for a Draven to try and fight his way through, as he never gets a chance to hit anyone with those spinning axes. He's just slowed, CC'd, knocked away, doesn't get his hands on anyone. He has plenty of damage, but nowhere to bring it to bear on. And covering out the Gwen ban here makes the Cassante answer, there it is, to follow it up, making sure the Smurf is not able to just hold his own up top.
Yeah, the last time both of these teams played, Nativz actually picked up that Cassandra. It was very oppressive in the lane, being able to tank up so much. And when you think about it, even if they pick up the Aatrox here, I'm not the biggest fan because it doesn't have that way in. And I completely agree with getting that big tank up in the top side. And that is going to be a Sion locked in from the side of Nativz. However, Sion is a lane that you can basically play anything into and win out into that matchup, as Venomcrest coming in with a few different decisions. But you can't just take away his only man Aatrox. He'll know what to do exactly into you.
Yeah, you'll have the answers, the familiarity with the matchup on both sides here, as it will be Lenny grabbing himself up the Aatrox of his own. I'm going to try and hold my tongue here, but I am a Scion hater this season. I just don't think he's in a good spot whatsoever.
Everybody, if you weren't here for a cast we did the other day, this man hates Scion. Anything into it, he prefers over that. So we actually do notice that Venomcrest have actually decided to put that rail in towards the jungle and get a Braum to make it more defensively sound into the bot lane. Now, Nativz need to decide how they want to start building their team comp now, because they could either go for a chance where they want to have this full engage, going with that package and now Nulu to start firing ahead, or instead go for a poke comp where it's more about Jakey trying to steal poke, and then having Nulu trying to finish it off with the ultimate. It does seem like they're going for that big engage comp, getting themselves that Rakan. And I believe this is the first time we've seen Shari Katami on this pick.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure here that he's played that. I was just actually doing exactly that of going back into my notes here, but I'm excited with the agency. I am such a Scion hater. I will I will get off my soapbox, but I feel like that champion falls into the smolder trap of no early agency without the cash-in that you get later on.
So we basically have a worse version of a smolder among us. That's pretty good. But you mentioned that you're not a really big fan of Scion. Could you elaborate a little bit more on that? And why could it be that we picked him tonight?
So I will keep this short and sweet.
Please.
I will keep this so
before.
short. He doesn't have the early agency. He can push and he can roam, right? He's able to just be a brick wall, but it lets the enemy top laner basically do whatever they want. Because his items aren't in a good enough spot for him to really be super oppressive. Heartsteel is kind of rough. Some of the health stacking items, like even the Warmogs, aren't great. Items aren't in a good spot. So he kind of just gets burnt down. And with max health champions, such as Smolder, there was a Vayne in the previous game that Zath is referring to, he's not even as tanky as you'd like him to be without the resistance to back up his HP pool.
So we're definitely gonna get beaten down by this Aatrox tonight. 100%.
Well, you can say that, but Aatrox into Scion is mostly like, you're trying to chip me down. I'll be fine. I'll be that brick wall. And you say that you hate Scion. He is very defensively sound. He does what he needs to do from the side of Nativz. And remember, they have that Draven for this early game pressure they want. So expect Jakey to leave Scion all on his own in the top side. Just stay down bot lane. And we want to see this Draven get himself those adoration stacks, start cashing them in, and get that snowball rolling. Nativz need this big lead because the later the game goes, yes, they have a Corki, but I do have to favor the side of Venomcrest.
Yeah, I was just going to ask about Corki because the last time we saw him in game, it was on the opposite side and it cost us a win. So, what could we expect from a Corki in our team tonight?
A win. It's plain and simple. Sabag, don't you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, it's been an issue previously in that one game, which I would love to just redact from my memory. It has the same kind of spike ability of this. It doesn't have that Eclipse Malignant spike anymore. They removed that interaction on this patch. But it still has all of the same DPS package moments. It still just doesn't have this, again, safety that comes with those instant shields.
Yeah, that's fair. I just hope that we can use all the Corki advantage to our favor tonight after the loss that we had with him. And if we're talking about the support lane sandbag, how would you say that this could go?
Like he said, go in, get Draven a lead. We just want cash it. With the change to the ultimate, sometimes level 6 is the breakpoint you need, where the more of those adoration stacks you have built up, the more you can surprise somebody with that R damage. If you think, the first pass through hits you for 130 damage, you're like, whatever, and then the second pass through comes and does like 900, because this guy's just got a million stacks. Those kinds of moments can really get a ball rolling, but an early death in an early dive can basically ruin a game.
That's not good. Okay, the game is ready, so see you guys after our win, hopefully.
Loading into Summoner's Rift, do or die moment here for Nativz, taking on the 6-3 Venomcrest. No more mistakes allowed, no more errors. I'm getting a little bit of the jitters here.
In Nativz we trust. You don't need to think about it. We just get to watch a peaceful game of League of Legends. Nativz have got this. And of course, being smart as Nativz are, they understand when there's Braum on the enemy team, Don't go for an invade. That's why there will be a 5-point coming out from them. And when I was looking at both these team comps, the main thing I was actually realizing was where's the damage to get through the front line on the side of Venomcrest? Because they have the round the Braum, who could just tank up so much. It's really going to be down to just Nulu to try and find that poke before they find this major engage. And when they do find that engage, they still have to get through a Braum shield. There's just so much that Nativz are going to have to try and get through to get this game rolling. So I'm really excited to see what Jakey can get done in this early game, because I feel like a lot of it does fall onto his shoulders.
I would agree. I think that this game early on is going to be dictated by Xiaoyi and Jakey. If these guys are able to set the table for these big moments, Smurfy, you're a brick wall up in the top lane. I don't want to interact with you for the entirety of this game, to be honest. Try and get leads in your laners. Xiaoyi setting up Rusty, Jakey setting up Nulu. This is the way that you play this early game, is looking early on, chunking them down bot lane.
Yeah, of course, they will always win out in this bot lane trade if nobody finds a lead. So Nativz is going to be easily able to grab up this pressure, meaning the bot lane Skull Crab will go over to the side of Nativz if they want to really grab this. But one thing I'd really like from the side of Nativz is to push in this wave, get themselves a free setup, and start looking for gank after gank after gank. Because of course you have the cleanse and flash available from Deadhound. However, once you start getting that out, Smolder is going to be super easy to get on top of.
Yep, trying to tax some resources early on so he has less tools left in the quiver to try and convert and survive early on. And I know you're talking about this AD versus AP D-ring start here for the Smolder, which I would certainly prefer these days.
Yeah, Doran's ring, the main reason you actually grab it is he has quite a few mana issues, because remember he has to stack with his Q cost mana, so it is smart to have just a little bit more to get those stacks slightly easier. So you actually see a nice play coming out from Jakey, coming in, stealing away that Raptor camp, noticing that Zubak is here, and can still do this because of that early game aggression that the Draven has, meaning that his team can move first.
Yep, knowing that he has Xiaoyi waiting in Tribrush, here to try and box out as best he can, but not electing to stick it and moving towards the spot lane. Grand entrance, but the Unbreakable absorbs the worst of it, pushing back the VC bot lane.
Yeah, and this has actually made it where the side of Zubak has lost out on just a whole entire Raptor camp 4-3, as Jakey will be able to grab this Skull Crab in the bot side and can start farming all of it. So a small lead over to the side of Nativz.
Yep, bot lane lead transition here as the flap comes out aggressively, chunking Xiaoyi down to about a third, but plenty of sustain, gleaming quiver, some pots, and the cheeky start of the items here. What do you feel about this no support start here, as we might have to keep our eyes on Painful?
Yeah, I'm interested to see if they want to make a play here. Jakey actually gets spotted out. It's tank versus tank. Nothing will be happening here. Teleport will come through for Painful into the mid lane to get back. And I'm not actually sure how I feel about this. Maybe it was for those extra stats in the early game to try and get something through. But still, I think that you need to get that support item for that goal.
Yep, I know that this is something that was really finding favor for a while. It was almost kind of this flavor of the week style thing where you start a Doran's item, considering they are overstated. You can't build them into anything, but they are overstated temporarily. You push in, you get a little bit of aggression, first back by your support item, and it was acknowledged in the second set of patch notes in 0.4, where you don't get all your stacks immediately, whereas now, on purchase, you would get them all.
Yeah, so that is going to be quite a big benefit if Nativz can find a little bit of extra use from these stats, but it doesn't look like it, as Nativz, with a little bit of a bad trade from Shaikatami just beforehand, does mean that Nativz are on the back foot bot side, and Venomcrest can just come in.
Underneath the tower, Nulu is going to be knocked down. First blood from Painful, the Azir on the other side this time. Venomcrest grabbing up first blood in the mid lane.
Yeah, even had that Dark Seal available from his first resets, that's going to be even more use from getting that kill there. As Nativz, with a great early game, is now starting to fall a little bit apart, as Venomcrest already have 1,000 gold lead over them. However, Painful, with no flash available in the mid lane, there could be an opportunity for Nativz to get that back.
Yep, it was used aggressively, so it can still be exploited, but the Maokai's got to get there. Corki has one of his own, but in the meantime, it is going to be Grubs whittled down by this Rel. Zubak not even needing to impact a lane to find success with.
Yeah, but because of the kill in the mid lane, Painful being able to get to that level 6 mark first, Venomcrest can easily take this without any contentions. That will be the 3 Rift Scuttlers going over towards them. It's going to be much use just yet, but later on into the game, especially with Lenny on these side lanes, can really start taking effect with it.
Yep, and the longer that they're locked in lane down bot lane, the longer that it will be until the support item comes through. Deadhound acknowledging the fact that Draven couldn't hit, throws up the emote despite the knockdown.
Yeah, however, Draven has not died just yet. Has those adoration stacks really started ticking up? You can see he has 174, meaning he will get quite a bit of gold if he can cash in here. Now, I'm going to be looking towards this level 6 mark that we mentioned before to see when these plays are going to be coming through. So I'd really love from the side of Nativz to start playing for these dragons, because they usually get the first 1 or 2 and then stop going for it. If they're able to pick up the Mountain Soul or whatever soul is this game, I feel like that could be the big win con for this team, especially with how powerful that bot lane is.
In a world where you need to snowball is a world where you need to find ways to start fights, right? If you're just going 0-0-0 for the length of the game, it's going to be a rough time. As Smurf, speaking of rough times, he is chunked down to 300 HP, running underneath the structure, has the flash available, but knocking him up underneath the structure, not enough. Lenny picking up a solo kill as both solo lanes fall for Venomcrest.
Yeah, luckily this is going to be a cannon wave, so you won't lose too much of it, at least for the golden XP wise, but still, Venomcrest, great play in the top side. Lenny still has that flash available, not having to use that. However, Nativz need to be careful here on the bot side, as Zubak hasn't been spotted down the ward, and Nativz need to push under this wave.
Trying to get the wave reset here, but Zubak, like you said, is spotted out on the pink. It's up to a 2v3 here. No one coming for a long time as the Maokai's en route. Rusty Sniper forced to cleanse away. Zubak gonna be yanking him in with the Magnet Storm. Pulled in and shut down. Braum picks up the first. Maokai late to the party, and 3 lanes. Death occurring 8 minutes in. Bright spots are few and far between for Nativz early on.
Yeah, it's looking really rough for Nativz in this early game, because now they can't get that first dragon if Venomcrest wants to try and grab it here, as Nunu does need to be careful in this 2v1, luckily having a way to get out there. But Venomcrest always first on these moves, knowing that if they keep the wave pushing into them, that Nativz are kind of have their hands tied. They either let them freeze or try and take this fight and lose their life, as they will be trying to contest this dragon.
3v3, Rusty Sniper does have full HP and a buy up so far, but they're going to find the crash down onto Jake. He's forced to flash away. Shawi Katani in the exit, flashing over the wall here. They're trying to engage with Rusty Sniper's damage, but Jakey's down to 100. Jakey will be finished off by the AD carry. Deadhound picks up one of his own, 4-0, sniping from downtown. Rusty lives up to the name to claw something back, but Venomcrest in control bot lane.
Yeah, looking for more.
Kick it off. Showie's finding the knockup, cleansing it away. Kizzy have the damage. Flash away. It is beautiful. Draven is coming together. Showie, knowing his limits and playing them perfectly, sets up the moment for Rusty to get rolling.
That was actually really smart timing from him, because that shield wasn't available for Pasky to stop the damage coming through. So Nativz able to get 2 kills onto this Draven, maybe even more here. But Nativz, if they want to get the victory, they need to make more plays like that, as I believe Draven, with that reset and that adoration stacks coming through, he should be pretty close to his first item complete.
Should be right on his way here, but up against him, check out marksman itemization in the year 2024. Deadhound rocking something with very little crit on it, to my memory.
Yeah, that thing is a frozen gauntlet, and I'm not too sure what to think about it, but Nativz will be contesting.
Zubak is going to be trying to find the smite, and he will, paying for it with his life. Nulu will not get delivered it as the sapling finishes the job. Jakey grabbing that up in payment for the drain.
Yeah, really unlucky that Nativz weren't able to get that kill over to Nulu. So from the side of Venomcrest, I would say that's worth giving up your life like that, especially for the first dragon. It means that Nativz can't start stacking them early on, but they still need to make more plays. They still need to get more kills onto this Draven earlier on. So when the ultimate is up from Shai Katami, I'd really like another play like that to come out.
Yep, trying to find another engagement for quickness. Meanwhile, Rel is going to spot out this Maokai here and find a way to push him off, smiting down that first grub. looking for the engage. Nulu in pursuit here. Twisted advance onto the rail. Valkyrie away as they continue backpedaling. They see Lenny oncoming. Emperor's Divide is available and will not even be required. Stick a fork in him. This Maokai is done.
Yeah, and it's mostly because the priority they had in the top side mean that Lenny could move first. Knowing that, Nulu couldn't ever really contest that fight because it would have been a 3 versus 2 overall. So Venomcrest, now with getting those extra 2, will have 5 Void Grubs to their names. Mean that these towers are going to feel like utter to the side of Venomcrest when they can get onto them.
Not to mention, the Void Mites will be summoned this game. It's been a while. It's normally the split of 3 for 3. But once you get all 5, the Hunger of the Void spawns up those little mites, the little guys you see on your screen right now, which are basically an extra melee minion every time that you go to Siege a creep.
Yeah, that's going to be really helpful to try and siege, especially in this early game. Being able to get just a little bit more damage to get those tower plates down. However, Nulu does have this package available, can make a look for a place somewhere, but instead it's just going to try and steal away a few of these jungle camps. So I'd really actually like them to try and cross map here, have it where JK is towards this bot side with Shagutami. Nulu just hovering in danger with that ultimate available, so maybe scare off the side of Venomcrest from going towards the bot side.
Trying to find deterrent so far. It feels like this is the 3rd attempt we've seen of Maokai trying to swipe away the Rel's red buff, and 3 times he's been rebuffed, not able to finish it off as the bot lane will lead that way.
Yeah, I feel like this might be the first time that JK can actually finish off this red buff. We know that the top laner of Zubak is up there, so then they shouldn't really have any contestants coming out here. However, I might be wrong.
Painful, looking to try and avenge it here. Shawi Katami down to 1 HP, and Mom comes flying over the top, finishing up the first kill of the fight. Now it's up to Deadhound and Draven, auto for auto. Rusty Sniper flashing forwards into the oncoming Dragon, finishing off Pazzi, but is knocked up by the ult. Here's the Scion here to turn the tides. Painful's gonna be knocked up into the air. Double kill for the Emperor. Lenny's gonna go ballistic, flashing over the wall in chase. Triple kill to mid. Last one going the way of the Aatrox. The Darkin is chasing the Yordle. The Kingdom Come picks him up. 10-5. Venomcrest firing in all cylinders in the jungle fight.
Yeah, getting all the kills over to the side of Venomcrest. And when we see exactly where they've been placed, the Azir dealing almost 3,000 damage in that fight. And remember, this is what Nativz wanted. They wanted that early game aggression. However, because Rusty Sniper hasn't had enough damage pumped into him or gold pumped into him, he doesn't have that damage to win those fights. Now that Painful has 2.5 items to his name, 5 kills as well. He's going to be so strong in this game.
Oh, he's gonna be knocked up and forced to flash away. Concussive blows in sweet spot 1. Lenny picks one up under mid T1. Lethality Aatrox, not to be trifled with.
Yeah, Lethality Aatrox really coming online, and when you're playing like something into Smurfette, you can just go for more of the Lethality build because you just need to either kill Nulu or Rusty Sniper in these fights, and you will just win them from there.
Yeah, this is the issue with the Scion that I have. You're able to be so valuable for your team later on, but it gives enemy top whatever they want to do. Is Nulu gonna be forced to Valk away? You give other players the ability to make their own plays, and you're putting yourself on the defensive. For a player like Smurfette, that's such a tough pill to swallow.
Exactly, Smurfette always wants to try and build on that front foot. This is why we see him pick that Aatrox just so much. However, we know Venomcrest, everyone is towards his top side except for Lenny, so we actually see Nativz wanting to go for a dive here, waiting for that wave to get pushed in before moving. However, because of how long they're waiting for this wave, it just allows Venomcrest to instantly counteract this by using that Rift Herald in the mid lane.
Yeah, you gotta get something here. If you spend this much time here, it's kicking it off. Quickness and 2 knockups. The Rusty Sniper puts the damage in. Kingslayer World Ender. Rusty Sniper doesn't have enough. 3 versus 1. Lenny gets it done. It picks up a second. Double kill to the Aatrox, and the lights dim. Venomcrest run Summoner's Rift.
It was a great idea coming out from Nativz, thinking Lenny's all on his own, he's lethality, it should be easy to get bursted out, but because the fight is so far, been going so far on the side of Venomcrest, we don't actually have the second item onto that Draven, so of course they don't have enough damage to kill Lenny, so he completely turns this around, and Venomcrest now have a 6,000 gold lead.
Another attempt here. The lethality is going to strike once more, turning it into a 1-for-1. Nulu ends the reign of terror, shutting down the 6-kill Aatrox, but so much damage done in the meantime.
Yeah, it's looking really rough from the side of Nativz. They lost that mid lane tower from the Rift Tower that got placed down earlier. Of course, Deathbound being able to get that tower towards the bot side as well. It feels like everything is just coming up Venomcrest, especially when they are a late game team comp, as Deadhound is really starting to stack up.
Deadhound stacking, Azir completing 2 items. Lenny is... I believe that was all 5 members that were fought, right? It was a 3 versus 1, and then it was a 2 versus 1. Taking on the entire native side in stride, taking 3 with him. This Aatrox is a menace.
Especially with those 2 items completed now, sailing towards the mid lane. Nativz, they just need to try and not contest anything, try and find these picks instead, and just hope that you can bring something back, because at this stage in the game, Nativz really can't start taking fights.
And like he said, this is where it gets so ugly, because I would argue you do not outscale, I would argue you do not have a lead, and I would argue that you do not have objectives to play around. Leading to... what?
Opium is the best thing that Nativz have right now. I told you before, and I'll say it again. In Nativz, we trust, and if there's one team to bring it back from here, it is going to be this roster. As Venomcrest are going to be able to stop anyone from Nativz to get towards the top side. This should be a free tower yet again over towards Painful, meaning that all outer towers now are over to the side of Venomcrest, and what they can do is start choking out the side of Nativz. So they need to pretty soon start making a play. Otherwise, Venomcrest are just going to choke them out, like I said before.
Yep, time is ticking, and with it becomes this incredible dance of risky plays to get yourself back in, but not taking 1%ers to just throw the game away. This is this crazy risk calculation required to have any sort of hope of battling back.
Yeah, you're completely correct about that, because when we see Lenny in the top lane is just super powerful. I mean, that he has to at least have 2 or 3 members coming down towards to stop him. It means that Venomcrest on the opposite side can start looking for things, and this is what we're seeing them actually play for. It's having Azir and Lenny on 2 completely different sides. They have to either use everyone to kill one person, the other one gets a tower or 2, or vice versa.
Yep, you gotta try and pick your poison, maybe get a play here or there, and Shutdown is available on this mid laner, so perhaps that's where you look. Considering they brought 3 to the party bot lane, couldn't come up with their Aatrox, maybe worth looking elsewhere for the time of movement.
Yeah, however, Rusty Sniper has completed his second item. That Infinity Edge is going to mean that his auto attacks are going to start hitting like a trunk onto something like Painful or Deathhound. So there are possibilities to finally look for these plays, especially with those 2 items completed on Nulu. It's just about finding them. They need to play around this vision perfectly to try and look for signs, because there's only 3 members, I'd say, on Venomcrest you can really look for, and that's Painful, Lenny, or Deadhound.
Yeah, and I even say in that order, Lenny's a tall task. So your options then become isolate carries, and one of those carries is currently building tank. Spear of Shojin completed for Deadhounds. Your options suddenly become painful.
Yeah,
and arguably solo painful.
I actually really like this build coming out from Deadhound. Of course, having that Iceborne Gauntlet and Shojin, the way that you actually want to build him is more of a defensive build, where you try and poke out with that W. And with how far his team is ahead, he doesn't have to be that massive damage source. All he has to do is when he gets that 250 stacks, apply that to everyone, do a little bit of poke damage, and then just hope that they get low enough where your burn can finish them off.
Yep, stack so far for the little lizard here. Deadhound just trying to find as many as he can. That being said, Rusty Sniper in the same boat. He needs those adoration stacks from the League of Draven ASAP. That is the only gold generation that we're looking at temporarily.
Yeah, he does have a 400 gold lead because of the 2 kills he was able to get those adoration stacks off. However, Jakey, not spotted out here, might be able to do something.
Finding Zubac, unfortunately, though. He's looking for some softer members, but Lenny forcing his hand. Bramble Smash just slapping him away and walking backwards here as the Scion Q, not finding the market.
Yeah, it is a 4 versus 5 Nativz. They can look for a play. It's just difficult to try and get through that front line because if they don't allow Draven to find damage onto Dead Hound, they can easily just reverse fight this on the side of Venomcrest.
Meanwhile, flashing on a Rusty Sniper, forcing the Draven's flash away. Mom's already been summoned, and he is knocked out of the air. 2 Qs from Lenny. 3-man knock up out of the Sion, maybe to turn this, but it is only to stall the tides. Venomcrest continue walking forwards. The marksman been finished, the damage not there, and Smurfa is just going to be whittled down. Lenny picks up yet another. Jakey flashes away back into his base. Xiaowi forced on the retreat, and taking a moment, Venomcrest show no signs of slowing.
Yeah, Venomcrest through this whole entire season have just been building up to become better and better as a team. You can see 3,700 damage of both the AD carry and top lane, as the damage is just everywhere. Azuli does need to be careful.
For package here, finding the burn on the 2. Lenny's gonna be standing in the middle of that special delivery, and they find the shutdown here. Xiaowi Katami gonna be going in as Pazzi forced to flash away. Painful on the back foot here, finding a knock-up on the other side, but they do get the Emperor, picking up one of his own as he falls, but still painful down, and the plays are made. Nulu finding a straw to grasp at.
In New we trust as that 1 kill might change the tide for the side of Nativz, mostly because now that those 3 items have got on top of him, Nulu can really start packing a punch in a lot of these team fights, so I'm excited to see what he can do, especially if he gets to that 4th item.
Yep, a couple of cash-ins, equalizing the gold on that mid lane matchup, as you see at the bottom of your screen. Draven up 1.2k of his own. The issues stem from top lane.
I'm not allowing you to insult Sion yet again. This champion can work, I promise. But yes, I do agree. 3,000 gold lead over towards the side of Lenny. This man is a behemoth. Almost got himself to that 3 item mark. Same with Painful, who's so close to finishing off that death cap. And before they actually finish off that death cap, I believe there might be a small window from the side of Nativz to try and look for a fight. And I think they agree with me as they are going to be hovering around this mid lane tower, trying to get it down.
Flash over the wall here. Zubak trying to play bodyguard for Deadhound and will escort him to safety, but the structure not so fortunate. Mid T1 knocked down for Nativz.
And that's just an overall good play from the side of Nativz, clearing the top and bot side minions, meaning that when you have Painful and Lenny on these side lanes, not able to grab anything off it, and now this mid lane tower is down, they can start moving forward just a little bit more, and it makes it even easier for someone like Shai Katami to try and find these picks that Nativz still need, because even though they're down 9 kills, it is only a 4,000 gold lead at 23 minutes.
And 3.2 of that is tough. So in a world where Sion is able to do Sion things and just hold Lenny insides, this game is actually a lot closer than it might be on first inspection. Soul, however, a massive challenge to be solved here for the Native side.
They're really going to have to find a perfect fight to stop this Soul. Of course, it is going to be that Infernal Soul, and that really just can't go through because Venomcrest already have enough damage coming out from Deadhound, Painful, and Lenny. With that on top, we saw that Rusty Sniper basically got blown up in the last fight. He's going to be 100-0 if that does come through from the side of Nativz. They need to make a play around that, or at least beforehand in the next 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, Rusty Sniper's lifespan was Lenny's Q1 auto Q3. And that was the entire health bar of the only member with a significant lead for Native. So trying to keep out of the Darken's hands is going to be imperative.
Yeah, because they luckily do have plenty of disengage tools. Shai Katami with that ultimate and W being able to stop them from engages. Jakey, of course, having the ultimate available as well. So there's plenty of options from the side of Nativz to do it. They just need to execute perfectly to get there. You can already see the tension, everybody on the side of Nativz trying to make sure they're ready, trying to be on that game plan and just try and execute this game they know how to do.
Grouping up and trying to push out these mid waves as best as they can. However, Smolder is starting to hit a point where a sneeze and a couple of breaths are going to finish these waves over and over and over again. And as those stacks start to tick up here, Deadhound's flash returns. The window of opportunity might be closing before this dragon begins taking over.
Yeah, Deadhound are easily going to be able to push out these waves before anyone else, and Nativz are going to be on the back foot here. As we see the Baron again started up by Zubak. He is taking quite a bit of damage here.
Yeah, Zubak's gonna be chipped away down around the halfway mark, as now this might be Nativ's moment to try and turn it around. Smurfy gonna be wandling his A in. Shawi out here on the flank on the left-hand side, waiting for the fifth member, though. Smurfy's gonna be burnt down to a third and just blown up immediately. The engage comes through on the backlines with no damage to follow it up. Nulu trying to chip away, but it is ill-advised. Rusty Sniper's gonna be jumped on. Nothing left to give as Lenny shuts him down. Jakey finished off. The Aatrox resets once more, and Nulu in retreat. Hot pursuit from the Darkin. 4-4-1. Zubak gives his life, but secures the game in perhaps tough situations to watch for Nativz.
Yeah, because it was a decent attempt at the start. They're getting themselves that flank that we talked about on Shai Katami. But Nulu in the top side did have the teleport available, but that would have taken too long. And it felt like Nativz, 4 members were on the same page, but 1 wasn't. And you just can't have that with the side of Venomcrest, because the only reason that fight was so close was because of the ultimate failing from Zubak onto Rusty Sniper.
This also brings into question the Scion, where Smurfy marched forwards to be frontline and got absolutely decimated. The frontline is not able to hold up underneath the weight of Deadhound and Painful's damage.
Yeah, we're going to have to see if he can be a little bit tanky. He's already getting poked out before this fight has even started. Bullets are going to come through. Remember, this is Soul Point from the side of Venomcrest.
Yep, they do have Nulu's package. The special delivery is the X Factor, and as it runs out, that might be the death knell in this soul. Indeed, it will be Venomcrest setting their sights on it, finishing up 4 Drakes in a row. Nativz not in a position to contest.
Yeah, there's no way to contest that without that package. You saw what happened in the last fight they tried. They weren't tanky enough. Too much was coming through. Smurfy is in danger here. Flash available.
Has his flash, but he does expend to use it here. Painful is going to finish him off anyway. 2-man knock of Chowie Katami, a last gasp effort, but nothing left to give. Nativz die standing. They pick a moment, they fight it out, but they don't have enough to finish them off. 3 men dead, routed, base under siege.
Yeah, Shai Katami being the only one available with Jakey. They don't have the damage. All they are is the engage and the tanks for this team. So Venomcrest, basically uncontested, can just come in here. 10 seconds up to a Rusty Sniper. There's a way that you can end it.
28 minutes. Jakey is going to be absolutely decimated. Emperor's Divide not finding the market. Shall we tell me finding and engage? The ace is finished off by who else but Aatrox. Venomcrest in 29 minutes ends the playoff hopes of Nativz.
Tough to say the least on the side of Nativz, because
Painful.
a lot of the games when you watch Nativz, you think that the team comp can win that, but from the start I've always said it's a bit hard, because I felt like we got tricked into building that, because of course Draven, great counteraction into something like the Smolder in the bot lane. However, Draven not having enough damage to kill stuff late game. Same with the Scion, good in that certain matchup to be able to be that brick wall, but not enough in the late game. So of course Nativz gave themselves a bad hand to start off with and just weren't able to do it.
Yeah, I feel like from the draft, things were already not looking very good. And it was just a bit sad, and especially sadder to think that because of this loss, we're out of the playoff. But
Uh,
we have Smurfy here today to talk a little bit with us about what happened. So, hello, Smurfy. How are you feeling after this game?
I mean, it was a pretty rough loss. Nothing really good came out of this game. Yeah, I don't know. We just came behind at the start, and then couldn't really find angles to win some fights.
Do you feel like the team morale has been really affected from last week?
I mean, we have had I mean, our practice last week have been really bad, and we had like sub yesterday, so we have like stuff going on with the team that is not showing on the outside. I mean, I guess it's showing in the results that we're showing this week, and I mean, we just hope that we can fix this stuff and come back stronger.
Yeah, and the one thing I wanted to ask, of course, not being able to get to the playoffs now kind of lifts a lot of that weight off your shoulders, knowing that now you can play to try and learn and improve. And of course, Summer Split will be coming through in only a couple weeks' time afterwards. Do you feel like now it's just time to prepare for the next split, get your sides ready, and start really fixing these mistakes, as now you have plenty of time to do so?
Yeah, I mean, we also want to become better players, so we just have to try to learn from what we're doing in these games. Try to figure out how to just don't do this stuff and try to win the games we should win.
Is there anything that is very clear for you that you need to change ASAP for the next games to have a better result?
I mean, I'm not sure. We're struggling with team fights a lot, so we have tried to focus on like team fight setup and stuff like this, but we're still like falling short in the team fights that matters. So I mean, we will try to keep working, and maybe we'll win win some more games.
I feel like Sandbag wants to ask you a question about one of his favorite champions.
We were hyping up the fact that you even consider yourself the Aatrox OTP, something you're very
Yeah.
familiar with the matchup. I am a Scion hater. I will admit it, hand on heart. Why are we picking Scion, and how do you feel about that style of lane that you get put into?
I mean, the lane. I mean, I haven't played it in a bit, but I mean, it's horrible lane. Obviously, I was hoping he wouldn't pick the Aatrox and pick something else. But like lately in scrims, the Aatrox, no, the sign has been working like good. Like I can create a lot of space that the team needed. So therefore we won. Got like good practice with it. So I just figured why not send it there. Should probably have picked it on R5, but I just wanted to give the team some space, and that didn't work out this game.
Yeah, just so you know, Smurfy, I've had to hear him hate Scion for years upon years, so please, I do apologize about him. But of course, you know, everybody loses, everybody has a tough time. What are you gonna be able to do to like calm yourself down? So of course, you know, in solo queue, if I'm not having the funnest time, you know, I take a 5 minute break, maybe watch an anime episode. Is there something that you do after a loss like this to get yourself reset and ready to go again?
I mean, normally you get like hyped to play solo queue when you lose, because you're like, ah, shit, I need to get better, and then either you just go on a win streak or you just go on the fattest loss streak and hate yourself. But yeah,
It happens. If you were to give the top laners out there a tip and advice on how to climb up on ranked, what would you tell them?
I mean, you obviously have to have a good mental, because uh, I mean, to climb out of Masters, you just have to play consistent and not have games where you're the reason you're losing the game, and you have games like where you just play passive and you just play neutral and you just win and let your team carry you. So
Thank you for that. And before we wrap up, just wanted to remind people that are watching about the three names that we have here under the screen. First, we have Ireland Esports Collegiate Series, powered by Nativz, providing esports competition for students in Ireland. And you can have more information about that on comment IECS. We also have our sponsors. First of them, Oxen. It's our official kit partner that is selling our merch, like the t-shirt that Smurfy is wearing right now. You can find our merch on their website on Comment Oxen or on Comment Store. And allotment on our official purpose partner acting to preserve the coral reefs of Kotai, Thailand, and support the local communities under Comment Allotment. Guys, thank you very much for being here tonight. Thank you, Smurfy, for the interview. And I just wanted to remind people that are watching that next week we're playing against Rudy Esports on Wednesday at 7 p.m. CET and against DMG Esports on Thursday at 6 p.m. CET. So see you next week. Thank you.